Hi, I'm Shakti Durga. Welcome to the Goddess Speaks podcast. This is a collection of discourses from the ancient goddess Artha, containing spiritual energy and activations and discussions of those discourses. I hope that the teachings are beneficial to you on your personal journey of enlightenment. Mother Artha speaks. Namaste, beloved ones, and welcome back. The consciousness of which we spoke last week, we will speak more today. Last week, we looked at the way in which the mind is exalted by humanity as the ultimate instrument in consciousness. And yet, beloved ones, all you have to do is go through the portal of death to see how insubstantial your mind really is. For that which we rely on as the rational instrument, the instrument that cognizes much of the life of most humans, dissolves itself upon the leaving of the physical form by the truth of you, which is your soul. The great ones of earth practice in some traditions the continuity of consciousness by which they are able to be conscious during the process of death, conscious in the after sessions of all the different spectrums of experience experienced by each and every human on their passing, stays conscious between lives, enters consciously into the decision-making for future life or for assignments in the vastness of the conscious cosmos. And if returning to the earth plane, doing so fully conscious. You have records of such souls. You are in training to be one of those souls. If you insist upon the dominance of your rational mind, and you do not exercise the rest of the organs of consciousness with which you've been provided, it will not be possible for you to travel through the valley of death in a conscious way. And for you, the experience of death will be like it is for most members of the human family, similar to falling asleep. The processes after death will be available in consciousness to you, but not in their full spectrum. And the consciousness that you awaken to in the afterlife will be lost to you again in the rebirthing process. This is the way of most members of most of the human family. It is not the way of all species, and it has not been this way at all times. The development of the consciousness that can withstand the rigors of death and all the joy and peace and beauty that it brings to you. Death does bring a remembrance of souls with whom you wish to be reunited, of opportunities for experience and learning beyond anything you could experience in your human life. But to remember this in your next life requires work to be done whilst you are in human form in this life. It is good to understand that one lives in a society where human rights are valued. But human rights are found as much from the giving up of some of our freedoms as they are in any other way. And this is worth pondering. There are times when honouring the rights of others means giving up some action or language of our own. And thus it is a curtailment of the individual right that adds to the sum total of human rights. This obvious fact is overlooked by some who have not yet passed through the emotional age of the teenager. But I digress. The way of the sun is the way of the continual consciousness. The way of the moon is of the waxing and waning of consciousness. Both cycles are important. The human life chain is very associated with the moon, and the moon has periods of dark and periods of light. And the consciousness of humanity is very much like this, and is very affected by the tides of the moon. But the way of the sun is a different type of development and cannot be done in complete isolation from the tides of the moon, for they are like the left and right hand of the one being. Honoring the tides of the moon will help you grow in the ways of the sun. But considering only the tides of the moon will never get you to continuous consciousness. Both are created by the divine, and both have their purpose, and both are different ray types. They are related and interrelated, as are all the rays. Your own ray type is that of a peacock feather. Your own ray type is that of a peacock feather. Your own ray type is that of a peacock feather. And here a great esoteric secret is shared with you. Dwell upon this, beloved ones, and there will be revelations pouring forth for you, for your life and beyond. One must develop certain forms of hardware. Not, of course, physical hardware, but etheric hardware, that one may climb the ladder of consciousness and not be squeezed by the ebb and flow and tides of the strong lunar energy into forgetting. The requirement, beloved, is already something that you are fulfilling through your work with the chakras, as directed by Shakti Durga from time to time, and which will change as you evolve. In the continuous consciousness, the ways of virtue become that which puts tread underneath your feet as you climb the ladder of consciousness. The virtues are inherent in the path, and thus the tools that are at your disposal in the form of inspirational cards are of great assistance and can provide a form of scaffolding for you as your consciousness expands. For the majority of the human family, the outcome of any particular transaction in which they have an interest is of greater interest than the processes by which that outcome is attained. And to many, to the vast majority, the vibration through which we attempt the processes of coming to an outcome are of no importance. This is against cosmic law, which is often inside out and upside down compared to human thinking and law. As senior spiritual aspirants, it is the responsibility of each of you to consider your vibration in everything. And the more senior you become, the less excuse there is for behavior that is of poor vibrational quality. Remediation must be made for these things, and if necessary, help obtained to overcome that which will pierce one's capacity for the continuation of consciousness. The infinite consciousness of the divine contains everything, beloved ones, but the divine quality is such that it is the right thing at the right time for the right reason. If we insist upon a path where our base nature is allowed to proceed unchecked because I feel that I've been provoked, and thus I have permission to behave as an asura, then the path that one will take will be that of the asura. This must be balanced by intense devotion, beloveds, that you are protected by your guru against your own nature. Being protected by the guru against one's own nature is something that happens in every flavor of divine current upon the earth, whether you find this a popular and engaging belief or not It is the truth. There is nothing in that which I say which is anything other than presenting the story of that which is. There is no criticism, for this is the system. But for those who insist upon the ways of the lower nature of man, you will be unable to escape the lunar tides. It is not within the divine plan that we are able to continue with the lower pastimes in a substantive way and gain access to the light of the sun in a continuous consciousness way. Continuity of consciousness is a great joy, beloveds, and something to aim for in your spirituality. Last week it was said that the purpose of self-realization is the attainment of love and the empowerment to help and serve others. And this is the bedrock of self-realization. It is the same in every spiritual school. But there can be flavors, and your flavor is that of the peacock feather. And this is one of the flavors upon the earth which allows for you to aim for, as part of your self-realization, the continuous consciousness through which you can come and serve again on this earth in the future in a way that has attainment within it from before you were born, that you can remember and utilize immediately. Even as a small child, having the power to bless others and to bring more joy than the average baby is able to. And as we know, the average baby is a source of great joy. And so we are talking of the living masters who come again and again to help and serve humanity. You are being trained and prepared for this kind of future, beloved ones. This is the type and nature of this school. An exercise which is very helpful for the development of the continuation of consciousness is helping others through intuitive means. In our school, the main avenue for this is healing. And the intuition is trained specifically to allow one to serve as a healer. But the training, beloveds, is not just for healing. It is to support the expansion of consciousness beyond the rational mind and to put you in touch with other organs of consciousness that are eternal. There are some also who use mediumship and other gifts in order to utilize organs of consciousness that are not the rational mind, and these things too will help to develop the faculties to which I am addressing this discourse. This will require patience, beloved, and years of effort. It will take you time. I thank you for your time and attention, and now close the book and invite you to reflect upon this discourse and consider whether in your heart you have the necessary desire for the road of the peacock feather, the rays of light that it enunciates, and the objectives that it gives of boundless love, empowered service, and continuous consciousness. Namaste. I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Goddess Speaks. If so, please share it with your friends and your family so they can benefit too. If you'd like to connect with me, visit my website, shaktidurga.com.